Welcome to Rauta's videos. Today's opinion video is obviously about tapes, also known as cassettes. In some countries, well, they have been doing sort of a comeback. You've noticed them even in my reviews, and it's a format that kinda exactly doesn't wanna die. It just keeps going back and forth. Suddenly it's just all over there with some demos, some full-length albums and whatever. I recently got actually asked after a tape review, what's your opinion about this cherry? Why do you think this is worthwhile and all that stuff? And so basically, here is my video response and then some. Let's take a little bit of Wolfburn whiskey and let's get it going. Tapes used to be the thing of the 80s. Basically everybody who was around and basically going any place had tapes. Those kind of Walkmans, Sony Walkmans, which were basically the predecessor of portable CD players, which then again were the predecessor of MP3 players, which then again preceded smartphones. And now all those Walkman players are more or less dead. Well, of course there are always some retro people or vintage hipsters or whoever who just like to do whatever with tapes. But in generally speaking, tapes are gone as a portable format. However, tapes made a sort of a comeback like vinyl did before. And now it suddenly seems it's also one viable format in a way. It's not exactly competing with CD or vinyl, but it's definitely out there and it's growing. There are a few factors why I dislike the format and why on the other hand, why I also understand why it's coming back. First, let's try to understand why it's out there in the first place. Well, tape is cheap to manufacture. It's actually way cheaper versus your typical CD or vinyl, because basically you can just right away start copying your music to those tapes, and you don't need a similar kind of a master disc or master whatever to just get it going. So, for example, if you have 30, 50 cassettes, tapes, and you just want to get your demo distributed cheap, and also without going overboard with your kind of a limited run of a release, it's very easy to go. It's cheaper to send over mail than LP. It's quite good format in terms of it's not easily to be shattered to pieces, broken. It can take scratches. You can just throw it away from high story building, and the tape is still rolling. It's very good format in the sense of it doesn't. I mean, it outlasts basically vinyl and CD in so many ways. You can't be drunk and just play the tape. As long as you're not cutting the tape, you're just pretty easy to go. And it's versus CD, it's also quite easy to and cheap to send all over the places. So for demo recordings with small print runs and whatever, yeah, sure, why not? Also, some people have a great feeling of nostalgia with tapes, because it kind of brings, the memories of childhood, and that combined with this kind of a resilient form, it's a good combination. However, the bad sides. CD is not very known for its big pictures and great cover images, because it's also little compared to vinyl. Now, tape is even more suckier part at this sausage fest. I mean, it's the kind of a small print thingy which you just have to open up with your little fingers, and you're like, oh, they're lyrics, I'm gonna read them without my granny glasses. So it's not very handy in those terms. Surely it is easy to just box it away because it doesn't take too much space, and like I said, it's very resilient. So in a way, there are good sides, maybe more even than to the bad sides. But also, uh, like vinyl and like basically CD nowadays, it's not portable. Most cars don't have players anymore, I guess. For the tapes, well, that goes for vinyl too, obviously. Um, but tape players are kind of a special need nowadays. Unless you have those one of those so-called mini stereo systems, you probably don't have a deck already, um, and you need to purchase it like separately. So in those terms, it's kind of a dying format. And whenever I get sent, tapes, I'm just like, I don't have a player. Nowadays, I actually have. I got it from my dad. They had like leftover mini stereo system, which I just installed in my garage gym. But unfortunately, neither of those tape drives, uh, they didn't work. They just keep the noise, and that's that. So once again, without functioning tape player, and I have very little reason to buy one. First of all, I don't like the kind of a fast forward rewind function. It's annoying as hell because first of all it takes time and it's just annoying. Now usually I'm the type of a listener who just goes through the whole album. So in those terms it doesn't really matter if it's CD, vinyl, tape, because you can just basically start and get to the finish. Doesn't matter which the format is. However, with vinyl and CD, if you have to do something all of a sudden while listening to music, you can just basically pause the music or just power off, and it doesn't really matter. With CD, it's okay. It doesn't matter where you left off. Vinyl, you can just pick up the needle basically and again go off. It doesn't matter. With tape, however, if you are in the middle of a song or just any part of the tape, you have to just basically continue from the same point, which is then again quite annoying if you don't like to do the same thing with music, which you might do with movies, TV series, or I don't know, video games or books. So tapes are quite an annoying format. Well, to the defense of tape format, however, I must say people, in my opinion, should more listen to a full albums rather than just individual songs. So in that respect, tape is quite okay. But like I said, if you don't have all the time to finish the whole album at once, it gets kind of annoying. Also, because tape is a physical format more than optical format like CD, eventually this tape material, it gets worn out. So eventually you kind of end up ruining the whole tape. Obviously that takes a lot of listening time, so it's not that big a deal, but still it's more a problem with tapes than say CD or MP3 or whatever digital format your preference is. So do I like tape format? No way. I even still have a hard time enjoying vinyl as much as CD, even though I now have a rather good player. But at least with vinyl, I can always, enjoy the big package, the huge cover image, and all that stuff. But with tapes, it's just different story. I mean, it has all the bad elements from any other physical format, like you just have to take that recording and put it in the player, then do some magic button punching and all that stuff, and also sometimes do the rewinding or fast forwarding. The only good side that other formats don't have it exactly, and this is very questionable, is that if you don't like a demo or full-length album what you have on tape, you can just always basically ruin it, just record something other on that tape and so thus you have kind of like a second use for the tape. That's the only thing that in my opinion, is better than with other formats. So do I like it? No, not one bit. And to insult the injury a little bit, it's known that most of those tape factories are, already they have shut down. So there are like very few places where you can actually get those tapes done. And also the material for the tape. It seems that because the amount of tapes is just going up, there's not enough material for all the tapes that are needed to do all the music out there. So we might just at some point face the situation when we have simply ran out of the tape material, the actual stuff inside. So kind of be forewarned, like that might be happening, and in that case we might not get all the tapes we are requiring because there is not enough material, or the queue for the processing plants is just overwhelming, and that might also cause the prices go up. So these are little things that I'm not sure if you need to actually wait and or think about them too much, but just you to know. This is my take on tape. Why do you like tape? Do you like tapes? Why would you choose tape over any other format? Please drop your comments on the box below, and see you soon with more Tape and Terry comments. Take care and listen to some good stuff.